Welcome to the Guitar Resource Screencast, music theory and guitar pattern topics for guitarists. In this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the major and minor pentatonics and talk a little bit about how those two are related to each other. So one of the very first scales that guitarists learn is the A minor pentatonic. So I'll begin with that one. So I'm just building it up here. Okay, and so this fifth position here is usually the first position that is kind of learned. And you can see it has this flat third, which gives it the minor sound. Now, if you were to build a scale, pentatonic scale, major pentatonic scale, from this flat third, you would end up with all of these same notes, but they would be written out relative to this location. So I'm going to clear this out, and if you just kind of remember this spot, I'm going to rename that as root, and I'm going to move our root notes there. Okay, so instead of A, I'm looking for C. And now we have this root note where we had the flat 3 before. And so I will spell this one out. So I have 2, 3, 5, 6, and the root again, of course. So you could see that that same shape that we're using here a minute ago is now the same shape, but we have new names for the numbers. So we're all relative to C, and what was the root before is now the 6, which is the relative minor. Okay, so let's go back to the A. And we can see we're back with that same shape spelled out relative to this root. Now, if we wanted to look at this as a major, then now we have A as major, and then you could think of this as, if you want minor again, think of this as the parallel minor. So the same root, but this is minor now. So that's the basic difference between the major and the minor pentatonic. So if you, let's see, we go back to C. If you take this note, you build up a major pentatonic. If you go down 3 frets, or if you cross over strings, wherever you are, starting from the root, if you go down 3 frets and you build from this, or you think relative to this as your new root, then you end up with the same notes, but you're thinking in terms of this now as your root note. So if you're in the key of, say, A minor, this will work very well. But if you're in the key of C, you could play the same group of notes, but you would be thinking relative to C as being your root note. Thank you for viewing this episode of the Guitar Resource Screencast.